Blackburn of Tennessee. Senator, thank you very much. I know you're a busy day. Appreciate your time. Just thought I'd pick your brain on the infrastructure bill. It's sort of big news. I don't think you voted for it on the procedural vote. What are you thinking? What can you tell us?
Yes, Larry, Tennesseans are for transportation projects. They're for infrastructure, but they are not for wasteful spending. And that is what concerns them. It's what concerns me, is billions of dollars that are going to this wish list that the Democrats have that are not going to be there for roads and rivers and highways and runways and railways and broadband.
There's a lot of green money in there, Green New Deal money. Now, it's hard to know. It hasn't been scored officially, but just looking at the so-called fact sheets, I figure there's at least $135 billion in solid Green New Deal type money. Is that what infrastructure is supposed to be about? I mean, I'm confused.
Well, no, it is not. I tell you, the Keystone Pipeline would be infrastructure,
right,
but subsidies for electric vehicles is not infrastructure. Indeed, our electric power grid will not support all of an electric fleet for the United States. We don't have the generation capacity. We don't have the distribution capacity. So there are things like that that are not going to benefit Tennesseans. They're not going to benefit the American people.
Senator Blackburn, one of my favorites going through these so-called fact sheets, there's going to be something called an environmental justice review. Now, not just an environmental review, which I suppose, you know, I could live with that. This is an environmental justice review. What do you think that might mean?
Well, we're trying to figure out what these new projects are going to mean, and how are you going to use an environmental or an energy or a climate core, or what would an environmental justice review entail? What is going to be your responsibility? What's the federal government's responsibility in that? And, you know, we're seeing some of those components in broadband. We don't want the FCC to get into rate setting. We don't know exactly what they're talking about when they say digital discrimination. We're concerned about subsidies that are there. The private sector, you know, a lot of these ILECs and CLECs and telcos and electric power co-ops have worked mighty hard through this pandemic to expand access to high-speed internet.
You think net neutrality is going to creep into this before it's all said and done? Because that blocks investment, doesn't it? Just blocks the broadband investment.
Yeah, it does, and we're very concerned about that. We've worked very hard. When I was in the House and we did the Ray Bombs Act, we left the internet as a Title I, and did not move it to Title II to be regulated as a utility. We left it as a Title I, an information service, and chose not to do net neutrality.
To me, net neutrality, I mean, I want to get to other topics, but I know you're keen on this subject. In fact, as I recall, I've been into your office as a briefing when I was in the administration. You know, you could do net neutrality, Senator Blackburn. I think that would block 5G conversions. That would be a tremendous barrier to 5G.
You're right, Larry. That would be a wet blanket on investment into the network and building out to get to more of these fixed wireless and wireless networks with the utilization of 5G that would work on closing that digital divide, which is our goal, and making certain that there is an affordable product for people so that they have access to high-speed internet.
On other subjects, you know, it just occurs to me that Speaker Pelosi, in her wisdom, would like to put most of the House Republican members in jail because they're not wearing masks. Now, she's going to jail the staff. She's going to jail the tourists. The members are thinking about fleeing to the Senate. What's going on in the Senate on this subject? Are you going to go through a masking inquisition? Are you going to be under arrest, Senator Blackburn? I mean, I'll help you with bail money if necessary.
Well, so far, we're not having to wear masks in the Senate. Look, There is nothing that I've seen that says if you are vaccinated that you need to put on a mask. If somebody wants to put a mask on, that should be their choice, but it ought not to be a mandate. Just as with vaccines. I believe in vaccines. I am so pleased that President Trump got Operation Warp Speed up and running, and that within 9 months, working with the NIH and with these pharmaceutical companies and these brilliant scientists, we had shots in arms, and that has helped to save lives. People are benefiting from having a vaccine. So I say, everyone, talk to your doctor. If you're a candidate for the vaccine, go get it.
Yeah.
But to say you have to wear a mask after you've been vaccinated, or this business of saying, let's put children, little children back in masks, when we know that they're not spreaders, when we know that there is psychological, emotional, mental health issues that have arisen with these masks, not to mention children don't know how to wear the mask, so they touch it, they turn it upside down, it's a spreader, a germ spreader for these little bitty kids.
Be good if we could avoid school shutdowns, though. Actually, it would be good if we could avoid business shutdowns. I'm worried about that.
Right. Well, the lockdowns are of concern, and to think that there is the teachers union saying we might not go back to the classroom. This is something I'm hearing from a lot of moms about. They want their children in class. They do not want their children to be masked up. They are quite concerned about what they are hearing from some of these groups that are saying, you know, you ought to be masking. I think it causes a lot of uncertainty and anxiety for a lot of moms out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a lot of angst. Here's a question, final one. Can you stop reconciliation in the Senate? Tough question.
You just know that we're going to be trying our best.
Yes, all right. Senator Marsha Blackburn, appreciate it very much. Hope you come back soon. Thanks, ma'am.
Absolutely.